I am Noriko Ball, and this is Uncut News. Yesterday afternoon, tragedy struck the home of former presidential candidate for the Citizenship Initiative Party, Rhonda Lam. Her 15-year-old son was found dead in the family's East Coast Demerara home. According to police, the boy left a letter with his sister before taking his own life. The reason for his action is irrelevant. What is irrelevant is the deep and lasting void his passing will leave in the hearts of his family. Please, people, don't let your loved ones experience the same pain. If you or someone you know is struggling, call the Suicide Prevention Hotline at telephone number 223-0001. Don't wait, get help. And remember, the life you end up saving might just be your own. The Rona has been tough on everyone. Well, maybe not, Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, but for all of us mere mortals, the pandemic has been terrible for business. City Hall is no exception. On Wednesday, the typically cash-strapped and poorly managed City Hall appealed to government for a bailout, as a 78% drop in tax revenue has sent their debts skyrocketing over the past several months. Thus far, the city is faced with over $500 million in debts and counting. Of this sum, $100 million is owed to garbage collection contractors, $400 million is owed to NIS, and over $20 million in retroactive salaries is owed to staffers of the city constabulary. Mayor Ubraj Narayan reported that the MNCC was struggling to pay staffers amid the pandemic. The city spends about $120 million a month in salaries and a similar amount per month in sanitation, meaning the garbage and retroactive salary debts were racked up over the past several months. But according to Narayan, he inherited the $400 million NIS debt, which goes back as far as 1993. Yes, before some of you were even born, 1993. Nevertheless, he has written the central government requesting a bailout, or they intend to pay the garbage collectors and city employees before year's end. Now time for some good news, followed by some bad news about our oil. During their third quarter earnings call, Hess Corporation said that Guyana's gross discovered recoverable resources have jumped to 9 billion barrels, a 1 billion increase over previous estimates. This led Hess to state that this is enough to support up to 10 FPSO vessels in the Stabroek Block. The company's CEO, John Hess, noted that the increase in the resource base was based on additional discoveries at the Redtail and Yellowtail 2 wells announced in September, bringing total discoveries on the Stabroek Block to 18. Thus far, PLEA is targeted for first oil in 2024, and by 2026, the company anticipates having at least 5 FPSOs on the block, producing more than 750,000 gross barrels of oil per day. Drill, baby, drill. Best Buy Auto Sales is Guyana's #1 auto dealer. Their prices are competitive, and they sell their vehicles with warranty, so you could have some peace of mind. Visit their showrooms at 171 Peter Rose Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamaha Street, Georgetown, and find out about their special Christmas deals. Now for some bad news about our oil. As always, Exxon Mobil is putting profits over people. Ha! The American oil giant has announced that it is preparing to fire 1,900 employees, mainly from their headquarters in Houston, Texas. It was further noted that workforce reductions will improve the company's long-term cost competitiveness and help it through the current unprecedented market conditions. This is also after selling millions in mature assets in the North Sea earlier this year to help fund operations in the Stabroek Block. Now, moving on to everyone's favorite, crime news. A Venezuelan national is now in critical condition after he was knocked down while crossing the street in Northwest District. Police said the accident occurred yesterday morning on the Brooms Estate public road in Region 1. The driver of the motorcycle, 43-year-old Sherwin Smith of Kumaka Waterfront, told police that he was driving down the hill when he approached a group of people walking along the road. That was when 39-year-old Zantoya Moreau attempted to cross. The collision between the two injured both of them. Both were taken to the Mabaruma Regional Hospital. The driver has since been released, while Moreau was transferred to Georgetown Public Hospital for additional treatment. Last night, 55-year-old businessman Thakur Singh of Hog Island, Essequibo River, was robbed by armed bandits at the Breeden Hoop Stelling. Singh was at his cousin Snacket, helping him close up for the day, when he was approached by 3 men, one of whom had a cutlass. The trio then beat Singh while robbing him of his cell phone and an undisclosed amount of cash. The police are still looking for the 3 bandits. So, with that being said, now is a good time to remind you that robbery season is back. If I were you, I would consider getting security for the home or business. Shift Security Service is a good choice. I find that they are the most professional with well-trained armed or unarmed guards. Get some security this Christmas, people. Today we wish our Muslim brothers and sisters a happy Yuma Nabi. Yuma Nabi is the celebration of the birthday of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Although Islam claims earlier prophets all the way back to Adam, it holds up Muhammad as the final prophet who gave definitive shape to the Islamic religion. So, Muslims, pick up yourself. Now it's time for today's Rona report. Today the nation recorded 24 new cases. The total number of deaths now stands at 123. There are now 7 persons in the ICU and 732 persons in home isolation. The total number of known cases in the country is now 4,098. So please, people, wash your hands frequently. Avoid touching your nose and mouth and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds. And remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. And now in the diaspora, Guyanese businessman Shervington Big Head Lovell is basically admitting his guilt in drug conspiracy case he is fighting in New York currently. In 2018, Lovell, who is a part owner of the Tower Suites Hotel here in Georgetown, he was actually extradited to the US after he and several others were implicated in a major narcotics investigation. Since then, Lovell had maintained his innocence. That was until last week when his lawyers indicated that he's changing his plea to guilty. He should be facing trial soon. Don't fall for these get-rich-quick schemes, people. There is a legit way you can earn some extra cash to supplement your existing hustle. Sell Top-Up. You could become a Top-Up vendor quick and easy by linking Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Now, let's take a look at news in the region. According to Premier Joseph Farrell, a decision by the British government to use its reserve powers to enact laws allowing same-sex civil unions in the Cayman Islands will have some implications in his nation of Montserrat. After strong resistance from the Cayman Island lawmakers earlier this year, the British instructed the Governor-General of the British Overseas Territory to approve the Domestic Partnership Bill. Now, Farrell noted that while the order has not come yet, he is nonetheless warning lawmakers and Christian groups on his island that they may be the next Caribbean territory to experience the rainbow wave. And now it's time for our weird news story of the day. One man in Las Vegas, Nevada learned the hard way that bad mind can be deadly. 20-year-old Giovanni Medina Barras and his friends were out gallivanting around in a minivan when he decided it would be funny to slap an old lady who was riding her bike. Well, he reached out the passenger side window and slapped her with enough force to knock her off her bike, which seemingly killed her instantly. But karma wasn't going to let Giovanni off that easy. No, before he can even celebrate his murderous drive-by slapping, he slammed face first into a light post, killing him instantly. Or maybe both of them had a chance of survival. But we will never know, because Sloppy's friend over here decided to leave them both lifeless at the scene of the crime instead of doing something about it. While the police did manage to arrest one of the surviving passengers of the van, they are still looking for the driver. Imagine going to the seawall to give some blow, and when you're done, you try to start your engine. Click, click, nothing! That's because you didn't have a platinum battery! With its sealed, maintenance-free, calcium alloy plates, advanced technological build, and rigid testing process, you'll be on your way home to your wife in no time. Platin batteries are available countrywide and are imported and distributed by Caribbean Motor Spares. 174 Zealot East Bank Essequibo. Call them on telephone number 609-7621. Moving on to our Uncut News Viewers Poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So you give your responses in the comments and we'll read the best ones in the following episode. Yesterday's question was about community gardens and other forms of urban agriculture and if you would take part in it. Gixer Ripper said, yep, I'd lead the urban garden drive, but like most things, whenever the government gets involved in any initiative, it stands a better chance. add incentives for kitchen gardens. Healthier population who can feed themselves costs the government less in providing healthcare. It's a win-win situation. I agree completely. Now, before we get into tonight's question, Ravena's on Water Street and Anand's on Regent Street just received a new shipment of leatherette in over 16 colors. Leatherette can be used in a wide variety of applications, including covering speedboat seats, cargo, and keeping commuters dry. Ideal for minibus and car seats. Leatherette can be custom made to your seating requirements. Leatherette is easy to clean and sanitize and a better choice during the COVID-19 pandemic. For fast and comfortable shopping, visit us to get the best prices in town. Ravena's on Water Street and Anand's on Regent Street. Finally, here's tonight's question. Should the government give City Hall a bailout with specific conditions on how the money should be spent? Or should council just knock its head together and figure out a plan? Think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good, we just might feature it in Friday's episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Ballford saying good night, folks. Hey Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.